Hi there, this is Ranjit and I have the Zenfone 2 Laser with me, and in this video we'll be doing the camera review. The rear facing camera on this Zenfone 2 Laser is a 13 megapixel shooter with dual tone LED flash, and also it has the laser autofocusing system. So quite a bit, I would say, for a budget oriented device. And regarding the front facing camera, it has a 5 megapixel shooter, and as you can see it's offering a lot on a budget. But does it really perform? We'll know that in this review. I've taken a lot of sample shots in varying lighting conditions and also videos, and I'll show you all of those sample shots later on. But first, let me quickly give you an overview regarding the camera interface. And the camera launches fairly fast. It's not the fastest, I would say, and this is the default interface that we get. Let me bring some objects. It's the Moto G3, and you'll notice this because of this laser autofocusing system at center, it constantly tries to actually autofocus, and it does it very quickly if you don't do anything like tap to focus. As you can see, it automatically does. But one strange thing that I have noticed is that if you use the tap to focus, it does take almost 2.5 seconds to focus. So it looks like the laser autofocusing is not working properly when you manually try to do tap to focus. For example, as you can see again, it takes almost 1.5 seconds or something like that. So for the fastest autofocusing, I would say don't use the tap to focus. That way, as you can see, it does the focusing a lot faster, which is very peculiar, I would say. And it does offer a lot of modes. And if you click here, as you can see, it does offer a lot of modes. But for the most part, I did all my testing in the auto mode. We do also have the manual mode, HDR, beautification, and other stuff. And as you can see, if you know a little bit about the cameras, I would say the manual mode is really good, because sometimes in the auto mode the saturation and colors are a little bit off, and I like the software features. As you can see, it does offer a lot of options in the manual mode. If you go here, you can change the ISO if you know what you're doing, and you can change the bracketing, exposure. You can obviously adjust white balance. So if you know a little bit about cameras, I would say instead of the manual mode, opt for the instead of the auto mode, opt for the manual mode, because sometimes in the auto mode the saturation and stuff is a little bit weird. But again, as I mentioned, I did all my testing in the auto mode. And we also have the low lighting mode and stuff, but I particularly did not like it with the live subjects, because that tends to cause shakiness. And so again, this is the basic auto mode that you get. And if you go towards the other settings, you can change the ISO, exposure, etc. And in the video department, we also have the anti-shake. I kept it to auto mode. And in terms of resolution, at maximum resolution, that's 13 megapixel, it shoots in 4:3 ratio. But if you want to go to widescreen, it takes at 10 megapixel shooter. In terms of video, it can shoot video in 1080p with both the front facing camera and as well as the rear facing camera. But if you enable the video stabilization, the resolution falls down to 720p. If you want to go in full HD, there is no video stabilization that I have noticed. Now let me actually show you some of the sample shots that I've taken with this device so that you can judge the camera performance. These were shot with the rear facing camera of the ASUS Zenfone 2 Laser, and as you can see, in outdoor conditions where there's plenty of light, the camera does a very good job, and the color accuracy is also really good. We can also take some macro shots, and they do come out nice thanks to that laser autofocusing system. And for the most part in natural lighting, I would say the color accuracy is also nice. There's not too much of saturation, and even dynamic range is nice. We can also get some bokeh effect thanks to that laser autofocusing system. Recording this video with the ASUS Zenfone 2 Laser at the highest setting possible, that is 1080p. But do note that at 1080p resolution, the video stabilization does not work. If you want software-based video stabilization, you have to go down to 720p, and the audio that you're hearing is also being recorded by the internal microphone of this device. And this is my roof garden, and let me just slowly pan now. And we have the tap to focus. For example, I'm going to tap on this cactus. So as you can see, I'm pretty close to that cactus, almost just about 5 inches, and it can do focusing. So you have that tap to focus. So if you immediately want to focus to a particular area, you can always click that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk normally to give you an idea. If you do the video recording and move, how will be the video stabilization. Again, video stabilization is disabled at 1080p and we are recording it at 1080p. So this should give you an idea about the sample video performance with the ASUS ZenFone 2 Laser. Now these pictures were shot in semi-indoor conditions, and I would say if there is decent amount of lighting even in semi-indoor conditions, it does a good job. But again, you have to be careful, because if you're not, then the pictures can come out to be a little bit shaky. The flash is also okay, but I'll show you one more picture where the flash was not that great in my opinion. Now these were some of the pictures that I took in semi-indoor conditions in a restaurant, and you'll notice that the pictures were just too much plasticky in nature. Now these pictures were shot in completely artificial lighting in my office, and I would say for the most part the pictures come out to be good, but if your hands are stable. But again, one thing that I have noticed is that the flash is not that great in artificial lighting. As you can see, the picture came overexposed with the flash. But thanks to that laser autofocusing system, I would say macro shots come out to be really good, and they are mostly sharp. Recording this video with the front-facing camera of this ASUS ZenFone 2 Laser at the highest setting possible, that is 1080p. I'll just move around to give you an idea how it handles abrupt lighting exposure. Again, as you can see, it's outdoors, so you got to be careful, as you can see, regarding the lighting, because in the video mode it's a little bit haywire regarding the lighting and the auto exposure. As you can see, if you just move around, it can darken. I'll also take some selfies and show you the selfie shots. Now these sample shots were taken with the front facing camera, and for the most part I would say the front facing camera does a pretty decent job in my opinion. Also in artificial lighting and semi-indoor conditions, the front facing camera performance was decent. Recording this part of the video in my office, and this is in completely artificial lighting, and this is using the front facing camera of the ZenFone 2 Laser. And I have just one tube light switched on. Let me do one thing, let me switch on one more light, and this is with two lightings. So do let me know what do you feel about the video recording with the front facing camera in artificial lighting. So what do I feel about the camera performance of the ZenFone 2 Laser? As you have seen from the sample shots, the rear facing camera in outdoor conditions does a very good job, and even in terms of focusing it is good. Another thing that I liked about the the laser autofocusing system is that even in indoor conditions, if you try to take macro shots, it's way easier compared to other devices, because the laser autofocus system works really fast. But again, as I mentioned and I showed you, if you use the tap to focus, then it is really slow to focus. Another thing that I've noticed is that in indoor lighting conditions, again, the performance goes down, and also the colors are a little bit off. And in artificial lighting with human subjects, I noticed that the pictures were too plasticky to my liking. So in terms of artificial lighting, I simply did not like the camera performance of this device. Now when we move to video also, though both the cameras, the rear facing camera as well as the front facing camera, can record video in 1080p, but again, in terms of video also, the performance was not that good. The video was oversaturated and it actually looked very unnatural. Also in terms of audio recording by the video, that was also not that great in my opinion. Also when we move to the video with the front facing camera, I would say in outdoor conditions it was having a lot of trouble with exposure, and even when we move to indoor lighting conditions, there was a lot of noise in the picture. So again, I would say the camera performance is okay in outdoor conditions with the rear facing camera, but again, when we move to indoor lighting conditions and in artificial lighting conditions, the ZenFone 2 camera is still pretty weak. And I know many of you have asked me to compare it with this Galaxy J5 and the Moto G3, and I have to say, in terms of camera performance, both the Galaxy J5 and the Moto G3 are far better options if the camera is your highest priority. Thanks for watching this video, and if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thank you. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.